It was a rainy Thursday evening when Elijah checked into the Greyhaven Inn. The innkeeper, a pale man with thin lips and heavy eyes, handed him a brass key with the number 309 engraved on it. The inn looked as if it had been untouched since the 1950s. Dusty chandeliers, floral wallpaper curling at the edges, and an eerie quiet that hung in the air like a warning. "I don't usually rent that room," the innkeeper muttered, just as Elijah turned to leave. "Why not?" Elijah asked, pausing. The man blinked slowly. "No reason. Just old pipes. Might hear some sounds." Elijah shrugged. He was in town for a funeral, and all he needed was a bed and silence. Room 309, on the third floor, was dimly lit. The walls were faded beige, the carpet stained, and the windows fogged up with condensation. Still, the bed looked clean enough. He dropped his duffel bag and lay down without unpacking. That's when he first heard it, a whisper. Faint, like wind through a crack, but deliberate. Too rhythmic to be the pipes. He sat up. "Elijah." He froze. The whisper was soft, stretched out, as if the air itself was breathing his name. He checked his phone. No signal. The clock on the nightstand read 11:47 p.m. He pressed his ear against the wall, half expecting to hear voices from another room. But there was nothing. No guests in the hallway, no footsteps, no TVs. Just silence. Then, "Elijah, why did you come here?" He bolted upright. This time, the whisper was closer, as if coming from the room itself. He scanned the walls, the closet, under the bed. Nothing. He tried to laugh it off. Stress, he whispered to himself. Funeral stress. But sleep didn't come easy. At 3:09 a.m., he woke with a start. The bathroom light was on. He was sure he hadn't left it that way. The door was open just a crack, enough for a thin beam of light to spill out. Elijah stood, feet cold on the floor, and slowly pushed the door open. Empty. But the mirror was fogged up, as though someone had just taken a hot shower. There, scrawled across the glass, was a single word written by a finger. Stay. He stumbled back, heart racing. He left the light on and sat on the bed, debating whether to leave. But where would he go at 3 a.m. in the pouring rain? He tried to sleep with the covers pulled over his head, but the whispering returned, closer, sharper. You shouldn't have come. You shouldn't have come. The next morning, Elijah confronted the innkeeper. There's something wrong with that room, he said. The innkeeper didn't look surprised. He just poured coffee into a chipped mug and stared at the counter. Room 309 used to be a nurse's quarters, he said finally. During the war, this building was a hospital, back in the day. Elijah frowned. So, there was a nurse, Lila. She lived in that room. They say she was kind, until the patients started dying. One after the other. Healthy soldiers, young men, dropping like flies. People started talking. Rumors. They found out she'd been ending them. Elijah's stomach turned. She said she was freeing them from pain. One day she just disappeared. Never caught. But that room, people say they hear her. She calls them by name. She writes on the mirror. Always asking them to stay. Elijah laughed nervously. Is that supposed to scare me? I told you, the innkeeper said, eyes blank. I don't usually rent that room. That night, Elijah considered checking out. But curiosity anchored him. He returned to room 309 with a flashlight and a digital recorder. He was determined to document whatever was going on. He sat on the bed and hit record. Is there someone here? He asked. Nothing. Did you write on the mirror? Silence. He played back the recording. A long pause. Then a faint whisper. Behind you. Elijah dropped the recorder. He turned around. Nothing but the old dresser and the mirror. He approached it cautiously. The glass was clean, until it started fogging again, right before his eyes. And once again, letters appeared. Stay. He wiped it with his sleeve. The word vanished. But then, the mirror began to crack. A tiny fracture. Then another. Until the entire surface spider webbed in front of him, as if it were under immense pressure. A low moan filled the room, not from the wind, not from the walls, but from beneath the floor. Elijah backed up, flashlight flickering. Suddenly, the bathroom light went off. Total darkness. Then came the voice, loud and close. You came for me. Elijah ran to the door and yanked it open. It wouldn't budge. The handle turned, but the door wouldn't open. As though something, or someone, was holding it shut from the other side. The whispering rose into a chorus, multiple voices now. He came for her. She's still here. You can't leave. Elijah backed into the corner, heart slamming against his chest. And then, silence. The next morning, a housekeeper found room 309 empty. The bed was unmade. The window was open. The floor was wet, as if someone had climbed in from the rain. But Elijah was gone. His duffel bag was there, untouched. His phone still on the charger. No one saw him leave. The police were called. A search was launched. CCTV showed him entering the inn, but never leaving. No sign of him was ever found. Weeks later, a new guest checked into room 309. She complained of strange dreams, of voices calling her by name. She saw words on the mirror. They always said the same thing. Stay. And late at night, if you press your ear to the wall in room 309, you can still hear him. Elijah, still whispering for help, trapped on the other side of the glass.